Aotearoa, and welcome to Thursday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect New Zealand. I'm David Chaston, and this is the international edition from entrenched.co.nz. And today we lead with news. Inflation is getting entrenched in the US, and policymakers are starting to look away from the threat under political pressure. But first, US mortgage applications fell for a third consecutive week, with both refinance and new home applications decreasing. This came even though benchmark 30-year mortgage rates fell too. But the overall activity level is significantly higher than this time last year. In New York State, factories there reported that their new order levels stopped falling, and they shipped more in the past month. That brought a good rebound in the New York Fed's Empire Factory Survey in October, making back September's drop and almost back to August levels. One of the reasons respondents feel better about the situation is that their price increases are now sticking, and they're absorbing less of their tariff tax cost increases. Supporting that are two private CPI tracking services who say that consumer prices picked up even more in September, one even suggesting CPI inflation ran at over 6% in the month. And that inflation is rising is confirmed by the October Beige Book released today by the Fed. They noted tariff-induced costs were reported in all districts, as import costs increased at a faster pace due to both these higher import costs and the higher cost of services. Overall, they say American economic activity changed little on balance since the previous report, with 3 districts reporting slight to modest growth, 5 reporting no change, and 4 noting a slight softening. Consumer spending, they say, particularly on retail goods, inched down in recent weeks. Across the Pacific, China said its consumer prices stayed in mild deflation, now running 0.3% lower in September from a year ago. Beef and lamb prices are rising now, though, but milk prices are still falling. Meanwhile, Chinese producer prices, already in moderate deflation, eased back to a 2.3% decrease from August 2.9% decrease. And China also released its monthly new yuan loan data overnight. That came in at almost 1.3 trillion yuan, double the unusually low August level, but still short of the almost 1.5 trillion yuan expected. September's get a seasonal boost normally, and those factors were evident this year too. But still, the latest level was lower than the 1.6 trillion yuan in September 2024. Credit demand remains slightly subdued there. And India said its September exports rose 6.1% to $36 billion US, building on the August increase. Their exports to the US are only 20% of all their exports, and less than half of those are caught up in punitive tariff taxes. And even among those, it is the Americans paying, it seems. The EU said their industrial production rose again in August from a year ago. Although the rise was a modest 1.1% from a year ago, that is an inflation-adjusted real gain. In fact, they've reported gains on that basis for the past 7 consecutive months, which is unusual for them. For the prior 38 months, they consistently reported year-on-year decreases. It's a turn-up they'll take. In Australia, the Westpac Melbourne Institute Leading Index for the third quarter suggested that the Australian economy is only expanding at the long-term trend pace, but the pace is picking up marginally. They expect 2025 to come in below trend, but 2026 to edge up to trend levels. And Australia fell almost 66,000 homes short in the year to June of the aspirational 240,000 new homes built needed to meet the government's target of 1.2 million new homes in the 5 years to 2029. That's a 27% shortfall in 1 year. Not a great start, because it's actually the weakest annual rise in 3 years. A shortfall like this will underpin prices for existing houses and make housing sharply less affordable for all. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now at 4.05% and up 2 basis points from yesterday at this time. And the price of gold will start today at $4,196 an ounce, up $52 from yesterday. And American oil prices a little changed at just under $58.50 a barrel, while the international Brent price is still down at $62 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar is now just on 57.2 US cents, essentially unchanged from yesterday. But against the Aussie, we're down 30 basis points at 87.8 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're down 10 basis points at 49.2 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today at just on 61.7 and down 10 basis points from yesterday. And the Bitcoin price starts at $110,890 and down another 1.5% from yesterday. Volatility over the past 24 hours has been modest at just over plus or minus 1.3%. You can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from entrenched.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston, and we'll do this again tomorrow.